Hello, and welcome to the Daily Kirby Stage Podcast. Today, I'm going to be playing the first stage of Onion Ocean, which we finally reached. Honestly, I feel like whenever I do like a full session of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, playing the game from start to finish, Onion Ocean is kind of the point where I start feeling a little bit because, I don't know, it's probably just because it's a water stage, and Kirby water controls aren't exactly the most thrilling when when Kind doesn't exist. But, like, I don't know, I feel like Onion Ocean is my least favorite stage in the game. Granted, it isn't really, that big of a thing when I'm playing one stage every single day. I want Parasol again. I love Parasol. Cool. Yeah, I think for the most part, like, I feel like water stages get a really bad rep, but I feel like for the most part I actually don't really mind water stages. But in terms of Kirby specifically, I don't know if I feel like I would say I don't really enjoy the water stages that much, just because the underwater controls are so limited compared to the ground controls, where you can't even use most of your copy abilities. Actually, generally, why is that the case? Because not even like it's like that in every game. The Dark Matter Trilogy allows you to use every single copy ability underwater. So, why have the other games not fine-tune each other for that? The only reason... I feel like the only reason why copy abilities aren't all usable underwater is just because of Adventure and Superstar. Because again, Dreamland 2, Dreamland 3, 64, you can use copy abilities underwater. Oh wait, no, not Dreamland 2 and Dreamland 3. Okay, never mind, this is an overarching Kirby thing outside of Kirby 64. But still, they so easily could have just made abilities usable underwater at some point. Does anyone actually enjoy not being able to use most copy abilities underwater? It's not even consistent, because some abilities do work underwater. Specifically, weapon-based ones like Parasol right here. I can use Parasol underwater. Why can't I use, let's say, Ice underwater? Why can't I use Mecha underwater? Why can't I use Bomb of all things underwater? Or at least I don't think Bomb is usable underwater, from what I remember. Because just because the previous games have been designed a certain way, that doesn't mean succeeding entries need to be designed in the same way. You can revamp the water controls. Heck, this game literally... Kirby Star Allies literally updated the water controls to not be bound to directional input, or to not be analog input, or... You can go full 360 direction in Kirby Star Allies, and in even in this game, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, they updated the water movements from the original Return to Dreamland to work in all 360 directions. But... So they're not against updating the water movement mechanics, but they're against updating the game to have abilities usable underwater. I don't really get that. Somehow I've never given it this much thought before, but if they make more 2D Kirby games after this game, which I feel like they probably will, even if it might be a while, I'd really love to see them actually update it to have every single ability usable underwater. Because again, what's stopping them? Water stages kinda just as they are. I only really enjoy them when Kind actually exists. When you can actually move underwater. Because otherwise it's kinda just... meh. Oh, the shadows to those sections in Dreamland 2 where you're kind of just in a tunnel with a water wind. I can't think of it. With underwater streams that just shove you into enemies. There is a section like that in this game, and egg engines too. So, yeah. That's fun. Totally. Dice or kibble. What else about water in Kirby games? I guess I could... Yeah, I guess I could elaborate on that. Kirby 64's water is kinda cool. Because granted, it has more to do with the way that abilities work in 64 in general, with how every single ability is just one move. But abilities just work underwater in 64, and it's really nice. You can attack in any way you want underwater. You can even inhale underwater, actually. Although I will say, I do like the restriction in not being able to inhale underwater. I like that, because it makes underwater gameplay stand out more compared to normal gameplay. And yeah, maybe it's a little hypocritical to say that's a problem when you could make the same argument that most abilities not working underwater makes underwater gameplay stand out more compared to ground gameplay, but the way I feel is making abilities usable underwater would make underwater gameplay more fun. Not having the inhale underwater, maybe it would be more fun if you could inhale underwater, but I like water being this ability-destroying thing, where ability starts just immediately disintegrate when they touch the water. Because that creates a risk with the water. Don't take damage underwater. And you know what? That risk will be greatened if cop abilities work underwater. Because then... Because then when you lose the cop ability, it's not just, okay, I wasn't gonna be able to use that in here anyway. No! Because in this case, the abilities would work underwater. So you're more incentivized to keep the copy ability while you're in the water. Water game will be so much better if they just let you use the copy abilities. Because as it is, I kinda just don't really care for underwater gameplay in Kirby games. I was just gonna mention the Forgotten Land completely removed them, but I don't think that's saying much. I think that's just because Forgotten Land is designed to be as simple for beginners as possible, and I feel like having 3D underwater gameplay isn't really the most beginner-friendly. Because then because then the player needs to keep in mind every single direction they can move. Hi! Because, like... Hell, I feel like even in Mario, I tend to like the water stages. I was gonna say, kinda... Do I like the water stages in Sonic? Actually, yeah, no, there are some highlights in terms of water stages in Sonic. It's just a whole... Man. Ooh, whip challenge. And Nene. Yeah, that's it for this episode then. Thanks for watching.